Welcome back to my channel. Today, we explore the value of specific coins. The 1944 D. Lincoln Wheat Penny, even if it's seen better days. In 1944, the Denver Mint produced over 430 million Lincoln Wheat Pennies. These coins were made from a bronze alloy consisting of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. Now, if you have a 1944 D penny that's been through the ringer, scratched, worn, or otherwise damaged, what's it worth today? In average circulated condition, these coins are valued between 6 cents and 15 cents. But wait, there's more. Some 1944 D pennies feature a D over S mint mark error, where the Denver D was stamped over a San Francisco S. These error coins can fetch between $59 and $841, depending on their condition. So, even a damaged 1944 D penny holds a bit of value, and if you stumble upon a rare variety, you might have a small treasure in your pocket. Always inspect your coins closely, you never know what you might find. Next up, the 1967 Washington Silver Quarter. Or is it silver? And more importantly, what's it worth if it's in damaged condition? In 1965, the U.S. Mint stopped producing quarters with 90% silver due to rising silver prices. By 1967, quarters were made of a copper nickel, clad no mint marks were used that year, and none of them should be silver. So if you have a 1967 quarter without a mint mark, that's normal. But what about its value, especially if it's seen better days? In today's market, a 1967 quarter in heavily worn or damaged condition usually holds just its face value, 25 cents. However, some collectors buy damaged coins as fillers, especially if there's something unusual, like a mint error. Still, unless it's a verified mint error or struck on the wrong planche, a damaged 1967 quarter is generally worth between 25 cents and $1 at most. Now here's where it gets interesting. If your 1967 quarter is struck on a silver planche by mistake, or has a major error like an off-center strike, it could be worth $100 to over $1,000, depending on rarity and condition. But remember, those are rare. Most 1967 quarters, especially in poor shape, won't fetch more than $1. So, should you hang on to your damaged 1967 quarter? Maybe. It's always fun to check for errors, just don't expect to retire off this one coin. Next up, the 1946 D. Lincoln Wheat Penny, focusing on its value in today's market, especially when the coin is in a damaged condition. The 1946 D penny, minted in Denver, is part of the Lincoln Wheat series, which ran from 1909 to 1958. With over 315 million minted, it's not particularly rare. However, collectors often seek out coins in exceptional condition or those with unique errors. But what if your 1946 D penny isn't in mint condition? Perhaps it's been circulated heavily, has scratches, or other signs of wear. In such cases, its value is primarily determined by its metal content and collector interest. In average circulated condition, a 1946 D penny might fetch around 6 cents. If it's in extremely fine condition, the value could rise to approximately 42 cents. However, in damaged or extra damaged condition, its value typically hovers around its face value or slightly above, mainly due to its copper content. It's important to note that while damaged coins generally have lower value, certain errors or unique features can make them more desirable. For instance, a 1946 S penny with an S over D mint mark error can be worth significantly more, even in less than perfect condition. So, if you come across a 1946 D Lincoln Wheat penny in damaged condition, it's unlikely to be a windfall. However, always inspect your coins carefully. Unique errors can turn an ordinary penny into a collector's item. Next up, the 1990 Washington Quarter with a D mint mark. Is it silver? Is it valuable? And how much is it worth today, even in normal damaged condition? Let's find out. First things first. The 1990 D Washington Quarter was minted in Denver, as the D mint mark shows. However, many people assume it's silver, but in reality, regular circulation coins from 1990 were made of a copper nickel-clad composition, not silver. That said, only special proof versions made for collectors might contain silver, and those were struck in San Francisco with an S mint mark, not Denver. So, a 1990D quarter is a regular clad coin. Now let's talk value. If you have a 1990D quarter in normal, worn, or damaged condition, the market value is usually right around. You guessed it, 25 cents. That's its face value, I know. Not exactly retirement money. But hey, don't toss it just yet. Certain error coins like off-center strikes or double dies can bring in more money, but those are rare and need professional evaluation. In damaged or worn condition, unless it's a major error, the 1990D Washington quarter is worth just its face value today. Next up, the 1956D Lincoln Wheat Penny. And we're specifically talking about one in normal circulated condition with a blackish tone. Is it valuable? The 1956D penny was minted in Denver with a massive production run of over 1.05 billion coins. That's right. This penny isn't rare by numbers, but condition and details always matter. Now, many collectors ask about those darker, blackish Lincoln cents. These usually develop that tone due to age, environmental exposure, or chemical reactions over the years. It's totally normal for older circulated coins. If your 1956D penny is in average circulated condition with a dark or black tone, no rare errors, no minting anomalies, its value today is generally between 3 to 10 cents. Yep, it's still worth more than face value, but not a fortune. However, if it's in uncirculated condition or has rare errors like a double die or off-center strike, then you're talking serious value, even up to $50 to $100 or more. So if you've got one, take a closer look. Check for sharp details, clean edges, and any unusual features. Otherwise, hang on to it as part of your wheat penny collection. The 1970 Washington silver quarter without a mint mark and what it's worth in damaged condition in today's market. Let's clear one thing up first. The regular 1970 Washington quarter is not silver. It's made of a copper nickel clad. But there's a twist. There are rare 1970 quarters that were struck on leftover 1967 silver Canadian coin planchets, and those are extremely valuable. But today, we're focusing on the regular 1970 quarter with no mint mark, found in damaged or circulated condition. In damaged condition, this coin isn't rare, but collectors still pay attention, especially if the coin has historical appeal or interesting errors. For most damaged 1970 Washington quarters with no mint mark, you're looking at a value of around 25 cents to $1.50, depending on the level of wear and demand. If your coin has unusual errors like off-center strikes, double die features, or planchet issues even in damaged shape, it could be worth much more, sometimes $50 or more to the right buyer. So, before you toss it in your change jar, check for those rare traits. And always compare your coin to verified sales online or consult a local coin dealer. The 1965 Washington quarter without a mint mark and uncovering its surprising value in today's market. First, a little background. In 1965, the U.S. Mint stopped making quarters out of 90% silver and switched to a copper-nickel-clad composition. So technically, 1965 quarters shouldn't contain any silver. A few 1965 quarters were mistakenly struck on 90% silver planchets left over from 1964. These are extremely rare and extremely valuable. A genuine 1965 silver quarter will weigh about 6.25 grams, while the regular clad version weighs around 5.67 grams. If you have a regular 1965 quarter, even in good condition, it's typically worth just face value 25 cents. But a confirmed 1965 silver quarter? That can sell for anywhere from $3,000 to over $10,000, depending on condition and grading. In fact, one example graded MS67 sold for nearly $12,000 at auction. So next time you're sorting your change, check those 1965 quarters. You might be holding a hidden treasure. Next up, the 1957 Lincoln Wheat Penny was minted in Philadelphia, that's why there's no mint mark. Made of 95% copper, it's part of the classic wheatback design used from 1909 to 1958. If your penny looks black or shadowed, It could be from natural toning, environmental damage, or chemical exposure. While this looks unique, it actually lowers the collector value unless it's a rare error. Coin. In circulated condition, a standard 1957 no-mint wheat penny is worth about 3 to 10 cents. If it's in black or poor condition, that value drops usually to face value or just above. But if it's uncirculated and graded, especially MS65 or higher, it can go for $5 to $15 or more. To truly know its value, check for errors like double dies or get it graded by a professional service. A rare error could turn a 1-cent coin into a $100 find. Next up, the 1974 Washington quarter specifically, the version without a mint mark. Is it rare? Is it silver? And how much is it actually worth in today's market? Let's find out. First things first. Let's bust a myth. Most 1974 quarters are not silver. In fact, unless it's a special proof coin from a silver set, the regular 1974 quarters are made of a copper-nickel-clad composition. So, if you've got one in your pocket change, chances are it's not silver. Now, about that missing mint mark. If your 1974 quarter doesn't have a mint mark, that means it was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. This is completely normal. In 1974, Philadelphia didn't use a mint mark on quarters. So, is it valuable? Well, if it's in circulated condition, that means normal wear and tear from everyday use. Its value is pretty much its face value, 25 cents. However, if your coin is in exceptional condition, like MS65 or higher, meaning mint state, no major scratches or damage, it could be worth a few dollars, maybe up to $5 to $10 to the right collector. And just to be clear, unless you have a rare error coin or a proof silver version, your 1974 quarter without a mint mark won't make you rich. But hey, it's still a cool piece of history. Next up, the 1984 D Washington quarter, and we're talking about its value in extra fine condition in today's market. The Washington quarter has been a staple of American currency since 1932. But the 1984 D version, minted in Denver, is often overlooked even by collectors. First, let's clear something up. The 1984 D quarter is not made of silver. Regular issues from this year are struck on a copper-nickel-clad planchet. True silver quarters were discontinued for circulation in 1964. But even without silver, the 1984 D quarter can have collectible value, especially in better condition. In extra fine XF grade, you'll notice some light wear on high points like Washington's cheek and hair, but the details are still sharp and attractive. So what's it worth today? In April 2025, a 1984 D Washington quarter in extra fine condition is typically worth around $1 to $2. That's a bit above face value, but not a huge premium unless it has something special. However, if there's an error, like an off-center strike, a doubled die, or a repunched mint mark, those can drive up the value significantly, sometimes to $20 or more, depending on rarity and demand. Bottom line. While the 1984-D quarter in XF condition isn't going to make you rich, it's still a cool piece of numismatic history worth hanging on to, especially if you're building a circulated set or just love vintage coins. Now, the 1982 Washington quarter with a D mint mark. But not just any quarter. We're talking about one that's damaged and has black discoloration. Could a coin in this rough condition still have value? Let's find out. First, a quick history. The 1982 Washington quarter was minted during a unique time. That year, the U.S. Mint did not produce uncirculated mint sets, making high-quality examples much harder to find. The Denver Mint, marked by the D, produced over 480 million quarters in 1982, so they're not exactly rare in general circulation. But here's the twist. Many of these quarters have been heavily circulated, and it's hard to find them in great condition. What about ones in poor condition, damaged, discolored, even blackened from oxidation or fire exposure? In today's market, a 1982 D quarter in damaged or blackened condition typically holds little to no numismatic value. Most of these sell for 25 to 50 cents, just above face value, often only out of curiosity. But there are exceptions. If the coin has unique errors, like off-center strikes, doubled dies, or clipped planches, it could fetch $5 to $50 or more, even in rough shape. Just keep in mind, discoloration alone doesn't make a coin rare. It's usually just environmental damage, especially when a coin turns black. So, is your 1982D blackened quarter worth big bucks? Probably not, unless it has a rare error. But hey, it's always worth checking. You never know what you might find. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts or questions in the comments below. Happy collecting!